Heads up contains potent doses of carpool playlist curation and turn it down requests.
Hey, welcome back to Dad's Space, the podcast for dads by dads. My name is Dave. I am going to give you permission to wear socks with sandals. I know. There's going to be people who are like, what? Yeah, because nobody needs to see those feet. I know, right? Nobody needs to see those feet. Socks and sandals, approved. I don't wear sandals. I wear socks. And then this whole thing about black socks and white socks. Like, what is up with this? Like, why are people like navigating to just all black socks? I don't know. I'm still like the 70s, 80s gym socks person. White, with the stripes. Yeah. Stripes make you run faster. And speaking of run faster, this is Dad's Space. We're going to run into the topic. I know it was a terrible segue. Welcome to the podcast. Achieving work-life balance as a dad. The blueprint for presence, not perfection. I'm so glad you're here. Here we go. Let's get into this. So if you want to answer the question, black socks, white socks, socks and sandals, no socks and sandals, dadspace.ca. There's a speak pipe link. Have at it. Give me your best. I'd love to hear what your vote is. The most creative message I will post here on the podcast. How about that? There you go. Challenge accepted. Challenge delivered. Challenge accepted. Come on. You can do this. dadspace.ca. Little microphone icon. Click it. Record your voice. You have up to 5 minutes to talk. So just give it to me. Come on. Let's go. I hope to hear you respond soon. Thanks. When I was a young dad, I worked, I commuted, and I worked about 3 hours one way from home. And then I work a 10-hour day and then a 3-hour drive back generally. It was a lot of driving. And I went through 2 tanks of gas a week. And at this time, if I was doing it, I don't think it'd be possible to drive that much and spend that much on gas. But I put a lot of miles on the car and a lot of seat time, a lot of window time. And I was away from home a good deal of my early dad life with my kids. And they got the leftovers of me for a long time. Now, I wrestle with this topic of work-life balance because my situation of being 3 hours from home. Now, if somebody got sick, somebody fell at school, they needed to be picked up, I'm at least 3 hours away, right? So my kids would have to sit in the principal's office and wait for me to show up. So my wife was working as well, so she's not available to drop everything and go. So if you look at that right there, I would say there's no balance there. There's no work-life balance. And as well, it's the weekend, and I'm with my family, and my employer calls and says, we're really stuck. Can you come help us out? Now, I'm not balancing on behalf of the work and saying no to my family and going into work. That's work-life balance, right? The opposite's true. And I like the word harmony maybe more than balance because there's going to be times when you can't be home. Think of a truck driver driving for, 10, 11 days straight. They're on the other side of the country in a truck. They can't just be home in 5 minutes. So there's this balance thing. I don't really know if that's possible, but it's a good thing to keep in mind. I like harmony, so work-life harmony, where you have times of work and you have times of home life, but we don't all have the pleasure of working from home all the time or not working at all and just taking care of our family. That's never been a possibility for us, for my wife and I growing up with our kids. It just hasn't been. So there's been sacrifices. And I know that we can't have equal amount of time at home that we can at work. That doesn't work. Math doesn't work that way. So we are kind of defaulting to work over family for the most part. I think this work-life balance thing gets talked about like it's some perfectly measured scale. Like you have like a weighted scale where you have the two things on either side, and you put something heavy on one side and the other side comes up and vice versa. You try to balance it. I don't think you can really balance this scale. I don't think that's how this works. Everything neatly divided into two equal parts. But if you're a dad, you already know that that's not how life works. Some days your job's going to demand more of you. Other days your family's going to need you in a deeper way. Think if your kids get sick, or your parents need you because of their ailing health, and you have to take a week off work to be with them. Like, that balance is out of balance in that moment. The real goal isn't the balance in the traditional sense. It's more about alignment. It's about presence, being present. We talk about that a lot on this show, that we just need to be in the room. We need to be in the lives of the people that matter the most to us. It's knowing what matters most in this moment and showing up fully in the moment, fully engaged, fully present. I just want to reframe the idea of work-life balance and give you more of a practical blueprint to live it out without chasing perfection as a dad, because you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody here, nobody listening to this show, nobody that you see parenting in public is perfect. It's not happening. I think this first shift is in redefining what balance actually means. Instead of trying to split your time evenly, 50-50, think of it in terms of intentional focus as a dad. When you're at work, be at work. And when you're with your family, be with your family. Whether you're at work or with family, be there completely. A quote where I have no idea where it came from that I've used most of my life is, wherever you are, be all there. Wherever you are, be all there. That's what we need to be as dads. That's the balance part, I think. The problem isn't that dads are so enormously busy. It's just that when we are with others, we seem to be distracted. Whether at work or at home, we're half working or we're half thinking about home. We're half at home and we're half thinking about work. Presence is what creates the feeling of balance, not perfectly divided hours. It's not a debit and credit like in accounting where everything has to balance at the end of the page. That's not it. The second piece, I think, here is learning how to prioritize without feeling guilty as a dad. I hate saying no to things. I hate saying no to my family. I hate saying no to my boss. I hate being in that awkward moment where I'm like, well, sorry, but I got to go. Or, sorry, I can't commit to that. Sorry, I can't be there for that thing. And it hurts. It really hurts. Because I just want to please people. I want to be somebody that somebody can count on. Somebody people can look to as a supportive, consistent, I'm always there. But you can't always be there. When you can't meet expectations, you feel guilty. Not everything carries the same weight, though. Even if it feels like it does in the moment. There are seasons where your career is going to need extra attention. You're going to have to go away on that business trip. You're going to have to go away on that conference. You're going to have to go away and do that thing. You can't be home. You can't be thinking about home the whole time you're away at the thing, because you're not balancing yourself there as well. So you're no good to anybody. Trying to give everything equal priority all of the time leads to burnout. It makes you so frustrated because you can't meet any of the objectives you have in your mind. We need to bring clear priorities and clarity to what we do and reduce that constant tension of feeling like you're failing everywhere. You're just, everything I do, everything I touch, I fail. Next comes the boundaries, which are often the hardest part in being a dad and trying to balance our time. Work is going to take as much as you give it, especially now when it follows you home through your phone or you're working from home. Setting boundaries isn't about doing less. It's about protecting what matters the most. That might look like shutting down work at a set time, not answering emails during family moments. When you're at the cottage or you're out fishing with your kids, you're not on your phone, finishing up and wrapping up things from the office. It's creating simple little rituals that signal, I'm off work now. Boundaries create space for your family to experience the best version of you, not what's left of you. Growing up, my dad's friend was a minister. Now, ministers go and visit people in the hospital, and they call that visitation. So the minister goes to the hospital and visits people in the room, right? And so my dad's friend, he had a boat. He loved to go out on his boat. So he named his boat Visitation. So the person at the office, when people would call for him, they could say, "Oh, he's not in right now. He's on visitation." Or he's out on visitation. Meaning people thought he was at the hospital, but no, he was taking his own personal time. He was out on the boat fishing. And his boat was called Visitation. I'm like, that's the coolest workaround ever, I think. But it's about balance, because that gentleman, as a minister, oh my gosh, like every moment of your day is consumed by people wanting a piece of you. You really have no schedule at all in that role. If somebody passes away at 2 a.m, you're there. If somebody needs a wedding, if somebody needs this, there's a death in the family, you're there. And you don't have the option in that role to just be like, "I'm sorry, I'm not answering the call." And like that's not how that works. So the fact that he has his boat called Visitation, I just thought that was such a brilliant idea. So I'm out on visitation. Can't find me. So like I'm saying, embrace those boundaries, create space for you and your family to experience the best version of you, not what's left over at the end of the week. That's where the balance comes in. Another key element here is building small, meaningful moments instead of waiting for the big, massive things to happen. Every morning is not Christmas morning. Every morning is not summer holidays. Every morning isn't a long weekend. It's not like that. That's not how things work. It's not about the big things in life. It's about the little things. A lot of dads think presence means long stretches of uninterrupted time, dedicated time with no other distractions. But real connection is built in the everyday moments, sitting at the dinner table, having breakfast together, cleaning up the garage together, playing in the yard together, throwing the ball back and forth. Those are the moments that people will remember. Having a real conversation before bed, not this, quick kiss on the head, good night, bye, see ya, lights off. These moments stack up and create a sense of connection that no grand gestures will ever replace. Sure, they're fun to spoil your family and have fun things, but you can't live on the highlights. You got to live on the lowlights as well, the everyday stuff. I think here as well, it's all about letting go of the idea that you need to be perfect as a dad. If you've been here more than one episode, I talk about perfectionism as a dad, and that we can't live up to this unattainable perfection that's portrayed on TV and movies and imagined by parents all around the world. We can't do that. There is no perfect schedule. There's no perfect system. There's no perfect balance. There's no perfect course with 5 easy payments. Some days you just feel off. You miss things. You make mistakes. You screw up. You fail in front of people. You get it wrong. It doesn't disqualify you as a dad. What matters is that you just keep showing up. You keep adjusting and staying intentional about the kind of dad that you want to be. Not every baseball player hits the ball out of the park every single time. That would be quite a boring game after a while. It'd be kind of like, there's another one. People strike out. It's not the end of the world. It's part of the process. This work-life balance or work-life harmony, however you want to word this, isn't something that you achieve once. Like, it's not like it's a one-time thing and then you hold on to it forever, like a trophy. It's something that you actually practice every day. It's built through awareness and decisions and small adjustments over time. Work-life balance isn't about you splitting your time equally 50-50 between work and family. It's about being fully present when you are in someone else's presence. At work, you're fully there. At home, you're fully there. Setting clear priorities and creating boundaries that protect what really matters most to you, to your partner and your kids. Presence, not perfection, is what your family is going to remember you for. long after we're gone. Dad was a dad, a good dad, who was present. I had access to him anytime I needed. And he took care. He took time with me. Think of a doctor who's got great bedside manner. What does that mean? They don't just come in, throw the facts at you, throw a prescription in your face and walk out. They sit down. They talk to you. They connect with you. They actually care about you. You're not just a to-do list item on their list. Of all the patients that are lined up outside for them, they still take time. And they make sure that you feel heard. They make sure they connect with you. They remember things about you. They bring them up in conversation. You're like, how do you remember all this stuff? You got so many people out there. Good bedside manner. That's what doctors do well. The best doctors do well. And as dads, have a good bedside manner. Connect with your family. And don't worry about being an equal 50-50 split between work and home so that your scale balances and it all looks professional and you look perfect. It's not going to be like that. But wherever you are, be all there. It's a great starting point. I'd love to hear more from you on how you balance life and work, especially those of you that listen and you are far from home right now. And you would love to be working from home. It's not in the cards for you. What you do and how you do your job, it's not possible. I'd love to hear from you and how you navigate that with your family. What practical things do you do? Let me know at dadspace.ca. I'd love to hear from you. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. I really appreciate you being here and making time in your busy life as a dad to listen to a podcast called Dad Space. It's so great to have you here. I love to serve you any way possible. If you need anything from me, reach out dadspace.ca. If you're finding value in the show and you're like, this is great, I wish I could do something to help Dave, it's so very simple. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link on my website, and all the money that comes in from Buy Me a Coffee, I then reinvest in other people. Other people who are creatives, they're creating podcasts, they're doing all of those other stuff. I coach podcasting on and on. I like to take that money that comes from you, and I'm very grateful for it, and reinvest it into somebody else. So if you're wondering why that's there, that's what it's for. And if you can help the show and help me help others, then go grab that Buy Me a Coffee link. You can do like even one single coffee is like $5 Canadian. I'd love to have that money to reinvest in others, and I really appreciate that. So thanks for being here. Remember, this podcast is always free. No ads, no commercials to skip. It's all about you. It's all about the content. So thanks for your help. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate you so much. I'd love to meet you virtually, email, DMs, whatever. Let's meet. I'd love to chat. Thanks for supporting Dad Space. Talk soon.